Chris Bleich is our guest this week as we get you ready for Week 11 Georgia Tech. And Chris, you surprised us all last week with that new offense. What was the last week like, getting that in, getting ready to go, and then pulling the whole thing off?
Well, it's kind of like reinventing the wheel for us there for a bit, but it ended up working out, so it was a great thing to happen in the game. It felt good.
We know off seasons, like sometimes you get a new offense, you've got all spring, you've got all summer. How'd you do it in a week?
I think you have to credit the coaching staff for what they were able to do, all the hours they spent just planning it out, trying to map it, make it as easy as possible for us. I think the biggest challenge for the team was definitely you take the skill players and have them putting into that emphasis. For the offensive line, I would say it was more of an easier transition for us because the plays were all the same, but then you take in the skilled players and who they had to block. That was kind of more of the 180 flip there.
For you personally, blocking and getting to go forward every play for you five guys up front, that must have been a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, it was kind of just put your hand in the dirt, keep driving, and just do your job at the end of the day.
It's one of those things too, right? You put it in during the week, you had to have no idea how it was actually going to work right until the game. Was there surprise it worked so well, excitement? What was the feeling like during the game?
I think it's a little bit of faith without the evidence. You kind of just have to trust the coaches and everything and just go with it. So they gave us the game plan, and it was up to us to execute it.
All right, tell me about Dan Villari. Obviously, he's the star coming out of that game. What was it like to watch Dan do his thing?
I mean, obviously, for Dan's perspective, a Long Island kid, to do that in New York City for him in front of all of his family and friends, I felt like that was amazing for him. It was kind of one of those one-off opportunities in life to do it in Yankee Stadium, let alone, and get that win there in Yankee Stadium this time around. Just felt so much better playing there.
I think you said, and obviously you played there for the Pinstripe Bowl last year, I think Dan said he had 75 friends and family there. Could you guys hear during the game? Could you hear the Villari group out there?
Well, if there was one group chanting, it was definitely his group.
All right, Garrett Schrader, obviously he's banged up. Otherwise, you wouldn't have ended up in that scenario. Tell me what he was able to put in during the week to still get out there and compete with you guys.
Oh, I mean, you guys obviously seen the backflip. That was practiced all week.
Did you have any idea he was about to do that?
Honestly, Garrett sat in front of me on the bus after the game, and I seen a highlight. I'm like, I tapped his shoulder. I'm like, Garrett, you did a damn backflip? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I hate you so much.
That's got to be the funny part, right? Of the guys that were actually on the field during that play, you were kind of busy, right? You had no idea it happened.
Yeah, he's just out there doing circus tricks, but I'm like, good for him. He got all the attention from it.
All right, besides that play, Garrett could not throw the ball as he normally does. What was he still able to add, directing traffic? Obviously, you ran the ball a lot, but, still being the quarterback without doing it the normal way.
I mean, I think if you guys watch the game over again, you see where he was blocking. I mean, he's just an athlete and a playmaker. He's going to do it one way or the other. He's a great team leader, and everything he does for us is just huge.
Absolutely, and it gets you guys the win. I want to hit LeQuint, too. What's it like blocking for him? Because it feels like every time I ask somebody that question, they love getting in front of that guy.
Oh, it's awesome because he just brings so much fire every day to practice and then in games. He practices just the way he plays. He's just a hard runner. He hits it downhill, and he's someone you just want to go out there and block for every play.
It's one where, he's not a small guy, but he's not the biggest guy around. To see him run as hard as he does, how much does that fire you?
Oh, you see him running over people. It just gives you a little boost of energy every time he cracks someone.
Mm-hmm. All right, take us into the locker room. It could not have been fun during the 5-game losing streak. How much did this, pep everybody back up for the home stretch?
For me personally, I kept saying I felt like we just needed our spark back, and I felt like after going through that game, it kind of clicked that spark into us, and obviously the confidence is high right now, and obviously we're fighting for a bowl-eligible season, and we have 2 games left, and our goal is to win it out. So I definitely think as a team's whole, our confidence there is back. I think we got our step back.
And now you have this whole new weapon in your bag going forward. I'd imagine Georgia Tech probably has no idea what you guys are going to throw at them this week, right?
We'll see. I mean, they've seen it on film now, so we'll see what happens.
How different, if you run that same stuff this week, how different will it be? I mean, Pitt obviously was taken off guard by it. If a team does get to prep, or is it just you guys saying, all right, this is what we got, and we're going to go run it right down your throat?
I don't really have an answer for that one. I guess we're just going to find out when it comes to it.
All right, we'll take a look at it on Saturday. Chris, I want to look at you. Banged up throughout your career. You're healthy here, finally, for your last year. You're the veteran of this offensive line. How much do you put on yourself as a leader of the group this year?
Honestly, that's kind of a weird question for me to answer. Like, obviously, that responsibility is there for me, but I feel like you can't put that pressure on yourself. Kind of just have to let it form naturally and just have a good flow with the whole group. I mean, obviously, this week we saw a young kid come up, especially another Long Island native, Joe Cruz, who played a hell of a game for us, and that was just great to see him develop into what he is right now. I think like the best thing is just keep trying to form the O-line as a group. Like, you just have to keep finding ways to overcome the adversity and keep head held high.
And what have been the challenges with that, especially this year? I mean, Dave Willaba came in, earns the starting job, then he's out. Joe Moore was going to start, then he's banged up all year. You mentioned Joe Cruz getting in the last couple weeks for Bradford. How tough has it been when guys have been in and out this year?
I think one of the, like, just in general, one of the hardest things you find from that, it's like you get one group of people, you start gelling with them, and then like the adversity strikes with that, and then you bring someone new in. And I think it's easier for them to come in, like once you have 4 out of the 5 gelled in. And I feel like when someone like that comes in, it's easier for them to mold and gel with the rest of the 4 instead of starting from scratch again.
All right, one last thing before I hit you with the 2-minute drill, Chris. It's Georgia Tech this week. You guys have 5 wins. They have 5 wins. We all know what 6 wins means. What do you think, like, desperation guys going for that bowl eligibility on both sides will be like this week?
I honestly think at the end of the day, this game's going to end up being a dogfight. Who's going to want it more? So I definitely think this week's going to be a gritty one again.
All right, Chris, that's football. Are you ready for the 2-minute drill?
Yes, sir.
It's time for the 2-minute drill. The clock starts now.
All right, he says he's ready. 2 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Thanksgiving's next week. You look like a Thanksgiving guy as an O-lineman. Is this like top of your holiday list? What's your feel?
No, to be honest, my top favorite holiday is definitely Christmas. I've never been a turkey guy, so I don't know, I can't eat a bunch of turkey, believe it or not.
All right, so what do you put on the plate at Thanksgiving?
Yeah, obviously you have to do turkey because that's just the plate there, but I'm a big mashed potato guy, loaded up with the gravy, and honestly, if there's mac and cheese, that will be half the other plate.
All right, dessert, also an important part of the holiday. Do you have a go-to pie? What's your go-to Thanksgiving dessert?
Ooh. Honestly, I keep it simple with just a little ice cream on the side, a little chocolate syrup on top or caramel. That's always what I have to go with.
All right, not a complicated. You just got to get that right in there. You're from Pennsylvania, for those that don't know. Sheets or Wawa? What's your favorite?
I think if you say Wawa, you're clinically insane. I think Sheets has everything better. Made to go food's better. Their mac and cheese bites are divine with the boom boom sauce. Sheets any day of the week.
All right, for those that don't know, that's like literally the most divisive question in your state,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that'll cause some wars over there.
All right. I'm not going to tell you my answer there because you might.
You look like a Wawa guy.
Yeah, I don't even. He's right, but I don't know what that means. All right, if I was going to give you a time machine, where and when would you go?
Where I would go? That's a good one. Ooh, where was Gatsby at? California?
Long Island.
Was it Long Island?
I think it was the Hamptons, right?
Oh, I'm going in 1920s. Party with Gatsby.
There you go. All right. Roaring 20s guy. I like it. All right. If you had to get in a fight with a horse-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized horses, which would you do?
Oh, there's strength in numbers. I'm taking the big chicken.
All right. You're a big enough guy. You'd probably be able to handle it. What's your favorite non-football sport?
My favorite non-football sport, something I could always get behind. Ooh, it's a tough one. Actually, I'm a big wrestling guy. I love watching. My family comes from a wrestling background. My uncle was a state champion Division I wrestler. Have a little nephew who's the next prodigy in the family, so I can always get behind that sport.
All right, that's a good offensive lineman answer right there. All right, Chris, that's 2 minutes. You've survived.
That's 2 minutes. Sweet. Thanks for the time.